27 million Americans are under severe thunderstorm and flash flood watch on Wednesday. A line of strong storms packing intense rainfall is threatening the mid-Atlantic and southeast. Major I-95 cities, Philadelphia, Baltimore, Washington, D.C., and Richmond, Virginia, could be impacted as heavy downpours could bring 2 to 3 inches of rainfall per hour over already saturated soils, which could easily cause flash flooding. Flash flood warnings are in effect for Washington, D.C., and swaths of Maryland and Virginia until 8:45 p.m. Eastern Time, according to the National Weather Service, NWS. A severe thunderstorm watch has been issued for the Mid-Atlantic region through midnight, according to the NWS. The greatest threat with these storms will be damaging wind gusts up to 70 miles per hour and isolated hail. A brief tornado warning was in effect in the northern D.C. area on Wednesday evening. Flash flooding is also a major concern with these storms that are expected to produce very heavy downpours. By the time the storm reached the heart of Washington, D.C., live feeds from prominent locations, including the White House, began to reflect the gravity of the unfolding situation. Visibility outside had dropped to nearly zero as sheets of torrential rain pelted the city's buildings and streets. Flash flooding began to emerge in low-lying areas, and wind gusts made movement hazardous. Eyewitness accounts from across the city and surrounding suburbs described a chaotic scene. Trees were seen swaying violently, with branches snapping off and debris swirling through the air. The distinct roaring noise often reported before the touchdown of a tornado had reportedly been heard by some residents in northeast Washington and the Tacoma neighborhood. Despite the intense rainfall, the atmosphere in many communities remained eerily calm between gusts, a phenomenon often associated with supercell storm systems. These sudden lulls in wind and rain only heightened anxiety, as they were often followed by renewed turbulence and lightning strikes. In Montgomery County, local emergency services shifted to high alert. Alerts were sent to cell phones, sirens activated in vulnerable areas, and local officials issued warnings across television and radio platforms urging people not to underestimate the storm's potential. County authorities coordinated closely with the Maryland Emergency Management Agency to monitor the storm's development, particularly over dense residential zones such as Silver Spring and Wheaton. Meanwhile, in Prince George's County, emergency responders had been mobilized preemptively in anticipation of storm damage. Power crews were dispatched to strategic locations to deal with potential electrical outages, while police and fire departments increased staffing for emergency responses. Hospitals in the region were placed on standby, with emergency departments preparing for weather-related injuries and disruptions. Families in the path of the storm scrambled to follow official guidance. In several neighborhoods, children playing outside had been rushed indoors by concerned parents. Vehicles were moved off streets where possible, with many seeking shelter in garages or beneath carports. Storm drains were quickly overwhelmed in some areas, leading to localized flooding that further complicated evacuation efforts and emergency service access. The Durham Fire Department has responded to multiple calls as a result of flooding across the city and surrounding areas Wednesday night, including the rescue of 3 people and a dog from an island on Falls Lake. According to the Durham Fire Department, the first call sent crews to rescue 3 people and a dog stranded on Falls Lake. The fire department said the people were able to make it to a small island on the lake, where they used flashlights to signal rescue crews when they arrived. Durham Fire said rescue crews deployed boats and were able to bring the stranded people and their dog back to the boat ramp safely and with no injuries. The second call came in after a tractor-trailer truck stalled out on Durham-Chapel Hill Boulevard service road when a driver drove the truck into a flooded portion of the road, according to Durham Fire. The The fire department said crews on the scene were able to reach the driver by using a ladder over the flooded portion of the road. The fire department said the driver did not suffer any injuries. The Durham Fire Department said the last call they responded to saw 15 people wanting to self-relocate after the first floor of an apartment building on Weymouth Street saw a few inches of floodwater. The fire department said no injuries were reported. However, they do not know if the people will be relocated by the apartment complex or not. The Durham Police Department posted Thursday on their social media page that drivers should avoid these intersections prone to flooding as rain continues to fall Thursday. These roads were already flooded. Residents waited for the whole river to recede Monday morning so they could begin the cleanup from what they are calling historic flooding. Folks from the small southern Alamance County community say they haven't seen the Hall River flood like this since Hurricane Fran in 1996. The river spilled over the Church Road Bridge, leaving a pile of massive tree limbs and debris behind. Every few minutes, you could hear a loud bang and feel the bridge shake as a limb would hit the side. Jeff Brooks with Duke Energy says a tree floating down the river slammed into a power pole, breaking it in half. Lines from that pole were floating in the river, making it difficult for power crews to do their work. Eric Berg lives in the River Mill Apartments. Around 11 p.m. Sunday, the owners knocked on everyone's door, telling them to move their cars to higher ground. Unfortunately for Berg, he didn't move it high enough. Berg said, "My logic at the time was, it's not going to be that high, and I was wrong. It came all the way up to the middle of my truck here, which it says on the building is the 1945 high flood mark. So I think it's the highest flood that they've had recorded here. So it's a bad one." Berg and his neighbors had a long, sleepless night as they watched the Hall River rise, coming dangerously close to their apartments. He's staying with friends until the power comes back on. Duke Energy officials are uncertain when that might be. Just days after Tropical Depression Chantal caused deadly flooding conditions in North Carolina, more rounds of heavy rain returned Wednesday. Please don't drive during severe storms this week, and watch for downed trees and power lines after the storms move away. If you are in a low-lying area, be ready to seek shelter immediately. Check out real-time updates below from the severe weather outbreak on Wednesday and what could come on Thursday. Alamance County Community YMCA is offering its shower facilities for City of Mebane residents. This will be available from Monday through Friday, 5:30 a.m. to 8 a.m. and 3 p.m. to 7 p.m. All you have to bring is a photo ID, a towel, and shower shoes. The YMCA is supplying soap and shampoo. The High Point Fire Department said they rescued an estimated 24 people from water-related emergencies on Wednesday night into Thursday morning. According to NCDOT, Creekview Road near Dix Mill Road in McLeansville is closed due to a downed tree across phone lines. There's no timetable for the road to reopen, but the expected impact to traffic is high. Mebane city offices will remain closed on July 10th as officials work to keep water usage in the city as low as possible. Alamance and Orange County residents impacted by Chantal can pick up water well testing kits from 1:30 to 6 p.m. at Steel String Brewery on NC 54 in Mebane, Alamance, and the Duke Campus Farm on Friends School Road in Durham, Orange. Flash floods hit several cities and towns south of Boston Thursday morning as historic rain brought traffic to a crawl and clogged streets and highways during rush hour. With rain coming down so fast, storm drains couldn't handle the deluge of water. On Interstate 93 in Quincy, all lanes were closed at one point because of extreme flooding during rush hour. At least 3 cars were stuck on the highway for hours until the water receded.
Yes.
It was slow traffic. We came to what seemed like a giant pond in the middle of the road. There was a worker sticking a pole or something in one of the drains, and I stopped and the cops waved me through. And as I went through, I didn't take my foot off the gas at all. All my lights went on and the car just rolled to a stop. And that happened to the guy behind me and to the woman on the side, said Carrie Kuna, one of the drivers who ended up stuck on the highway. The amount of rain south of Boston was stunning. Weymouth recorded 6.37 inches during the storm. In Hingham, 6.21 inches fell. Braintree had 5.23. Sharon ended up with 4.67 and 3.87 inches fell in Walpole.